Hey there guys, I'm back to another game review. Today we're taking a look at Mario vs. Donkey Kong on the Nintendo Switch. A remake of the Game Boy Advance classic adds enhanced visuals, new levels, and modernizes the experience. While some have been scratching their heads like, who asked for this game, Mario vs. Donkey Kong is a well-made revitalization of the title while adding new bells and whistles. Is it worth $50 though? That seems to be the question on everyone's mind, so let's talk about it.
Announced during the September 14th Nintendo Direct, the Mario vs. Donkey Kong series will be making its grand return. Instead of a fresh, new take, they would instead be remaking the nearly 20-year-old original. It looked fantastic visually, and I was excited to see this spin-off series make a return. I still have fond memories of Mini's March Again on the DSiWare, if you even remember that one, which led to me purchasing Mini Land Mayhem the following year. I have played Mario vs. Donkey Kong on the GBA before, but I never got around to finishing it. I've finished most of World 3 before I dropped it. It's the only game in the series that allows you to control Mario. Every game afterwards has you manipulate the minis, which still made for some fun puzzle solving action. Now with this remake under my belt, I can safely say it's a well-rounded title that makes it more accessible for new players. Even if you played the original years ago, Mario vs. Donkey Kong 2024 has 2 new worlds and other quality of life changes. Whether it's worth $50 though, I'll let you decide that after I talk about the game for a bit. Quickly, the story of Mario vs. Donkey Kong is Donkey Kong wants a Mini Mario toy. After selling them out instantly, Donkey Kong decides to steal some from the factory. Because stealing is bad, Mario must retrieve the minis back from Donkey Kong or else we wouldn't have a game. I mean, come on, the Mini Marios are just as bad as Nintendo stock with the Amiibo when they were first released. In all seriousness though, the story of Mario vs. Donkey Kong is fine. Nothing to write home about, but it serves its purpose. Mario games have never been about the story, so this is what I expected. Gameplay wise, this is the same Mario vs. Donkey Kong action from the original. Control Mario as you collect keys, climb ladders, and avoid obstacles to rescue the minis. Mario's moveset is pretty robust, so keep in mind of all these controls because they will be useful later on. His movement is pretty solid, where making a jump a second too soon or a second too late could result in a death. If you're not a fan of dying in one hit and having a time limit over your shoulder, you can switch to casual mode where time is infinite and you get additional chances to take damage. Highly recommend this mode to younger or inexperienced players. Personally, I was just dying a lot because I was just very impatient and just trying to rush through the level even though I had plenty of time to do so. So just take your time. If you happen to run out of time, you can always hit retry where it'll just restart the level and it won't consume a life, where if you just let the time run out, you'll lose the life. 8 worlds in total with 6 levels per world, clocking in a total of 48 normal levels. This doesn't include the mini Marios and the boss fight each world has as well. Normal levels are fun puzzles that don't get too difficult until much later on. I was trying to collect everything in each level, which means finding every present. I would say the first 5 worlds are relatively easy to collect everything. From world 6 onward though, I was struggling during certain levels. Straight up clueless at times. I did look up how to complete 2 levels because I didn't know how to get everything 100% cleanly. I know, not my finest moment, but I'd rather tell you guys that I wasn't perfect during my playthrough than act like I knew everything. The Mini Mario stage is all about you collecting these letters that spell toy and also rescue a set of minis. Be careful of obstacles because the minis will die upon impact. These are great levels because they're a different kind of puzzle to figure out. The boss fights usually pull a specific gimmick from the world, like these conveyor belts or these wind flowers to defeat Donkey Kong. It's about what you would expect from a traditional 4-hit boss fight. Fun boss fights all around, with the later ones getting more difficult. Once you complete the game, you unlock Plus World, which are redesigned harder levels and you have to guide Mini Mario to the goal, which can be tricky. I only completed the first level just so I could see how these levels are, and yeah, I can see how difficult these levels can get later on. There are other gameplay differences from the original and further additions such as multiplayer and no longer taking fall damage. You can look at all the differences on the Mario Wiki, which is pretty detailed in comparing the original to the 2024 remake. I had a great time completing Mario vs. Donkey Kong. It's about what I would expect from the puzzle solving platforming to save the minis. The difficulty truly doesn't ramp up until much later on, especially in Plus World. Mario vs. Donkey Kong might not be the most difficult puzzle game out there, but it's still a fun time and plenty of content to sink your teeth into. It took me about 6 to 7 hours to complete the main adventure 100%. I can imagine your playing time would double if you went into Plus World right after. If you're a completionist, I would say Mario vs. Donkey Kong is well worth $50. Visually, this is amazing. The cutscenes are pleasing to look at while the graphics are up to standards for the Nintendo Switch. The sprite work of the original still has its charm, but the 3D models are top-notch.
If you're still on the fence about Mario vs. Donkey Kong at $50, then wait for a price drop. While other remakes have come out lately, like The Last of Us Part 1, Mario vs. Donkey Kong is a 20-year-old game that deserves the remake treatment. And because this is Nintendo, they always go above and beyond to add extra content to make it worthwhile. I find the addition of 2 more worlds, multiplayer, and casual mode enough to justify its $50 price tag. I enjoy previous Mario vs. Donkey Kong titles, and I'm happy with my purchase here. Would I like it to be cheaper? Sure, but I feel like I got my $50 worth here, even though I didn't play all of Plus World. There's over 100 levels to tackle in Mario vs. Donkey Kong, with the latter half providing a real challenge. I personally really enjoyed my time with Mario vs. Donkey Kong here, and I hope Nintendo brings more games like this in the future. And yeah, that is all I have for today. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys have not already, you can subscribe. I put new videos up on Saturdays. You can follow me on social media at TV Sonic Gaming, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at TV Sonic Gaming. And you can check out my podcast called the Travis and Damien Podcast. We talk about games, movies, and anime every other week. Yeah, that is all I have for today. Thank you guys for watching this video once again. And I'll see you guys next time with more videos.